some time ago. I was in an organic cafe, and the owner of that cafe, Sarah, said to me after my last stint in a mental home, "You don't have a mental problem, you have a sugar problem." No one's ever said that before in all my 50 or something years. And so she suggested I change my diet, and that would change my behaviour. Now, it's taken 11 years to finally realise what that sugar problem was, to get a biological answer for that. And so I'm about to give you that. I'm going to read it. I need to read it because I don't want to go off track. It's a bit technical, but it's actually important, because of what I'm about to say may very well be either affecting you or at some point will affect you or may affect you. So see if you can keep up. I've tried to keep it as family friendly as I could, but we'll see how we go. So everyone's obviously got DNA, but within that DNA, there's about 20-odd thousand different genes that make it up. One of those genes is called a methylenetetrahydrofolate reductase. And now, don't worry about the long name, okay? It's just the name of it. But what it does, it helps the body convert certain nutrients from food, especially folate, into usable form that supports brain and nervous systems. And so now along this particular gene, there is a variant within this gene, this methyltetrahydrofolate reductase, and it's called C677T. And this comes in a few different variants depending on your parents. So this is passed down from your parents, okay, this particular gene and the variant of this gene, specifically C677T. And so they pass that on. So they both give a copy, and what you receive can either be a combination of this. So you could be a CC, in other words, it's C677C, and that means that your body's able to process different foods, processed foods, stress, all that sort of stuff, relatively easy. And in other words, your biological threshold is quite high, and you can operate within that. The other one is, the next one is a variation, is a CT. Okay, so C677T. Once again, same as a CC, and you're able to handle, your threshold might be a little bit lower, but you're still able to handle processed foods or whatnot. You don't need as many nutrients to function normally, and so on and so forth. Your stress level's pretty good. The threshold is a little bit lower, and it can build, okay, until you break that threshold. Then the last one is a TT, and TT people have in other words, it's a T677T, and if you've got that, what happens is that you have a very low threshold or biological threshold, and so stress, eating the wrong food, and so on can affect you not in a positive way. So I found out that I was a TT. Now, that's okay, because about 8 to 10% of the population are TT, have a TT variant, and they operate that finely. Now, they can operate fine so long as they're below their biological load. Now, something can either trigger it, or something built up can get it to a point of triggering all the time. Now, you can't be tested. Well, you can be tested to see what variant you are, whether you're a CC, CT, or a TT. You can be tested for that. What they can't test is your biological load, because it's going to be different for each one of us. And so because of that, not a lot of studies can be done. They can just test today whether what you are just through blood test. Even that genealogy or whatever they've got it in that. It's in your DNA. Okay, it'll have it. Just can't test how tolerant. They can't test your tolerance level. So and what happens is with my variant, what I found out was it was making my biological load too much to maintain and stay mentally balanced. for instance. And so another factor which influenced me was that I was given a higher brain IQ, which means my brain was always constantly active and obviously more demanding. So therefore, when it never had the nutrients there to be able to handle this, the biological load, which was always on and always high, the symptoms mimicked bipolar disorder. And it makes logical sense. For a psychiatrist, that would make sense. No one's going to do a DNA test on you because you've got bipolar disorder behaviour. Anyway, so simply put, my body load strains from things like unstable blood sugar when processing fatty foods or processed sugars. And when my tolerance threshold is crossed, that's when symptoms appear. So the solution has been to reduce my biological load, and that's been done through obviously plant-based food diet, whole food diet, as well as avoiding processed sugars and unhealthy fats. And that's exactly what Sarah told me to do. And what this does is it provides my very active brain with enough nutrients to function normally without the risk of a mental episode. That's amazing. She said it a long time ago, but never put it in this context. So finally, just the other day, we found out what the biological reason behind it all was. And it sounds very simple now, and something I probably would have liked to have known earlier on. However, I know now, and there hasn't been an episode in the last 11 years because of it. So she was right on the money. And so I don't know what you are, whether you're a CC, CT or a TT. But it doesn't matter who, so long as you stay underneath your biological load, whatever that could be, through stress, events in your life. Obviously food is right up there, it's number one. So yeah, the body is an amazing thing, and pretty scary too.